I'm a little late. Please forgive me. I was running a little late. I need my glasses. A lot of running around going on this morning. Yeah, that's better. Well, today is Thursday, so we are going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about the all. About the mental universe and the all. We're going to break it down. I don't know if we'll be able to get into the divine paradox today. So when you come in, tell me who you are, where you're from, who you are, where you're from. I know I'm running a little bit behind, but it's all right. But the premise of today is going to be a basic understanding of what the creator is and what the creator is not. That's the basic idea today. What the creator is, what the creator is not. I got two of my favorite books handy. Need to get something else handy, i.e. a cigar. So first I want to say I appreciate everybody who comes to this channels, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok. Please share, like, subscribe, the whole deal. Call to action. I greatly appreciate it. We're going to get started in just a minute here. I'm really talking about what God is and what God is not. I will welcome other people if they want to be able to join in. Hesfala, Georgia. Ha! I'm in Stone Mountain, Georgia. I'm in Stone Mountain. Shreveport. All right. What we got? What's up, Tim? Lydia? I need to grab a cigar real quick. It's gonna be real quick. It's like right there. It's like right behind me. I'm gonna grab this. Then we're gonna get started. So we gotta break this down. Gotta break it down. Gotta break this down. I'm smoking my own cigar. This is a cigar that I made called the My Nicaraguan 1111. We gotta break this down, people. One of the reasons why we have so many issues in the world today is because everybody's trying to say, "That's right, let's go." Grand Rising Richie, what's up? From Trinidad. Ain't seen Richie in a minute. What's up, bro? What's up, bro? Michael, Matthew, what's up, man? Yo, but yeah, a lot of the world's problems would be solved if everybody stopped fighting over who they say God is, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about what God is and what God is not. And it's not that hard, but everybody want to centrally make God something that is knowable to their culture, understandable to their culture. They want it to fit their culture, their mythos, their people, their propaganda. And then we have this thing called the ego, right? What's that from LA? We got this thing called the ego. Now, ego, thank you. Yeah, we do. I do realize we do have a lot in common, Nathan. At first, I didn't think we did, but now I see that we do. But this thing called our ego this is what causes us to have to be right and have to know everything. Like, it's all ego. The human ego can't just let something be unknowable. The human ego has to define things. They have to put things in a perspective to which it can understand. And that is how we've developed these ideas of God. But today we're going to break some of that down to get an understanding of what the all is. And I do not use the term God that often. I just put it, if you see it on TikTok where it says the alchemy of what God is and what God is not, It's just a common phrase, easier for most people to understand what we're talking about here. But for the most part, I don't. Now, people are going to ask me for some reference book material. Two very simple, well, two short books. They're not as simple to understand, but they're short books. One short book, the Tao. Let me make sure you can see it. There you go, right there. You see the Tao, the Ching, and you see, I don't know if I can make TikTok see it. TikTok, there you go. The Tao, the Tao, the Ching. TikTok acting crazy. All right. So, good question. A Brit Atwater. I call the creator either the creator. I call what people would commonly call God. I call the creator because there's a separation between my understanding of a God and creator. So if I'm talking about a God, then I'm talking about something that man created to justify and try to understand its existence. When I say the creator, or more importantly, I usually refer to it as the all. And yes, I picked that up about 30 years ago when I read this little great book called The Kabbalion. And this is the other reference book that we'll use today. But that little book, The Kabbalion, changed my vernacular to refer to the creator as the all. And the reason why, and it was so funny when I read that book and I came back and, I went to my home church, and one of my, favorite persons as a pastor was preaching that day. And that's the first time I heard somebody say all means all, and that's all means. So when I had just read this book after coming back from being on ship, going to Bosnia in the Marine Corps, so we're talking like 92. Here's a guy that after I read this book, this pastor saying the all means all, and that's all means. And I was like, whoa, I just read that. That's really what it's all about, understanding the universe. Exactly. We're not talking about the trans community today. We're talking about what we're talking about, what's on the screen, the alchemy of what God is and what God is not. We're not talking about other stuff. That's later on in the subject matter. So, but your ego forces you to want to identify a more corporal being. So let's start out with it. What is God and what is not God? And you're going to see how what religions have created, what these books that have been written has created when they say that God did this. And I can even explain and give people who say that their God came and embodied another human being. There's an out for that. There's a rational explanation for that, but that is still not the creator. And I'm going to get you that one. I'm going to give you that one too later on. But the first thing that we have to realize is that the all is mental. The all is infinite mind. The all is, but that's not the first thing. The first thing you got to understand is that the all is unknowable and unexplainable. It's unknowable and unexplainable. The first writing in the Tao Te Ching is one of my favorite sayings, one of my absolute favorite. And that saying goes, and it calls the all the way. Or so the way that can be walked is not the way. The name that can be named is not the name. Tao, which is the creator, is both named and nameless. As nameless, it is the origin of all things. As named, it is the mother of all things. A mind free of thought, merged with itself, behold the essence of the Tao. The mind filled with thought, identified with its own perception, behold the mere forms of this world. Tao and this world seem different, but in truth, they are one and the same, and the only difference is what we call them. But that first part, a name that can be, the way that can be named is not the name. If the moment you put it in a book, the moment you give it a name, you just reduce the all into a concept that I know this food. Okay, so what we don't do on here, buddy, is that we don't come in here and try to throw insults. If all you want to do is come and throw insults, then you need to get on up out of here. Because you telling me I need to take a reading class? Yeah. Anyway, you know what? I ain't gonna even get distracted by foolishness like that. So the thing about it is this, because what we encourage here is intellectual conversation, polite conversation. You know, I was watching this live yesterday and I found this guy to be incredibly rude because he tried to shout down everybody. But anyway, so the moment you try to name something, the moment you try to put the creator in a box, it's no longer the creator. It is only what you have put in this little box. That's it. It's nothing else more. It can never be more than that. It can never be less than that. And that violates so many tenets of what the all actually is, right? And one of the things, and the reason why people get stuck in these mindsets is because they don't know, they don't understand. Just like somebody over here on TikTok just said that alchemy is demonic because alchemy comes from Greece and Romans, when actually they did any research, they know that alchemy started in Hermetics, and alchemy actually goes beyond the Hermetics because they talk about it in the Emerald Tablets as far as it coming from Atlantis. So maybe you might want to do a little bit of research before you start making statements, because I will do that. If you say something that's intellectually incorrect, I will correct those things. So you might want to go and figure that out first, okay, before you make statements. All right. But it goes beyond religion. Alchemy goes beyond religion, goes beyond philosophy. And the thing, and what the alchemists understood is that the all is unknowable, undefinable. You cannot put it in a box and say that, you know, God is this, God is that, God is this, God is that, God is. The all is beyond that level of understanding. And the reason why is because the infinite mind, because the all is infinite mind. And the finite mind can never describe or define the infinite mind. So when you start there, understanding that there is absolutely no way we can clearly define it. So even in my title, The Alchemy of What God Is and What God Is Not, is as best we can do to try to get a glimpse of understanding something that we can never actually fully comprehend. It's in the same way that if you've never actually died, went to heaven, hell, fifth dimensional plane, energetic being, whatever it is, and then come back to the matter plane of existence, you don't understand death. We have precepts, we have concepts, we have ideas of what it is, but we don't know. You can't clearly define it. You can't clearly define it. And that's what the all initially is something, it cannot be defined, and it has no name. Names are cultural biases that we have decided that's what we're going to call this. We're going to call him Marduk. We're going to call him Yahweh. We're going to call it Baal. We're going to call it Otomare. We're going to call it Quetzalcoatl. We're going to call it Kukulkan. We're going to, and so on and so on and so on. We continue to give all these different names. And in these names, we think that we know, but we don't. And this is actually a freeing thing. I'm missing some. Am I missing some questions? Oh, we should be just sit back and listen. So the thing about it is, and once I get through this first little part, then I get more into your questions and statements. The other aspect of the all is this. The all is universal law. The all is immutable law. Now, what is immutable law? Immutable law is laws that cannot be changed. They cannot be, it is just law. We use the term law too loosely, kind of like how we use love too loosely, right? I love you, or people here know that I don't use the word friendship too loosely. If you my friend, you're my friend. If you ain't my friend, you're just an associate. We might be cool and I might treat you like you would think a friend would be, but you ain't my friend, really. My friend I would die for. My friend I would, bend over 3 times backwards for. I risk my own life for my friend, and it's been proven. If I ain't doing that for you, but we cool as hell, we just cool. But law, we use too loosely because law cannot be broken. There's no way to break it. It's an impossibility to break it. Even if we push against it and we're able to adjust it, it is not broken. For instance, gravity. We may use thrust to alleviate and break through gravity, but gravity is always at work, right? It's always at work. The law of cause and effect is always at work. There was a person was talking about, I was in this car accident and, I didn't die and this didn't happen and God saved me and so on and so forth. Now, that's what they want to believe. Go ahead and believe that. But the truth is there's cause and effect to every action and reaction that happens within a situation. There's without, now for those causes those effects that you cannot determine what the causation is, that's just luck, chance. There's no such thing as luck, chance, miracle. That's just causation that you don't know. It's just causations that you don't know. But when you think about it, there are plenty of effects that you feel that you're experiencing that you don't know the cause of it, but it's happening. Whatever government you live up under are doing things right now or have done things 5-10 years ago, which we're seeing the effects of. You're seeing the effects, you're living with the effects, you're trying to adjust to the effect, but you don't know what started the effects. You don't know what caused the effects, but you're just dealing with the effects. So, but when you say the all is immutable, it has laws. Universal laws are immutable. The only thing outside and the creator is the all is those immutable laws. There's nothing bigger than that because there can't be anything outside of the creative mind of the creator, of the all. The all cannot be more than what it is, nor can it take away from what it is or separate itself from what it is. Now, that's where a lot of religious people, especially Christians, this is where they get butthurt a little bit. Because for them, and this is also where a lot of my people who are deconstructionists, where we start to say, well, God cannot take away from himself nor be separated from himself. Because the moment that you take away from him, then he's no longer God. It's no longer the creator. It's a little less than. The moment it's separate from itself, a little less than. There's a way out for the Christians on this. I've never heard one actually bring this argument to bear, but there's a way out. But even in their way out, they still kind of lose out on the idea of Jesus being God. Because it's still an impossibility for Jesus to be God. It's still an impossibility for anybody to be God, right? So even when I hear people say, I am God, I am God, I am God, you are not the God. The all is in all. The divine paradox talks about how the all is in all things, but all things are not the all, right? Meaning you have since you are the creator, we are the creation of the all in us, in its mind. But that's all we are. We do not exist outside of the all. We can never exist outside of the all. We always have to exist inside of the mental creation of the all, which is this matter plane existence. Now, we may be able, as we talked about last week, the law of correspondence, as above, so below. You may be able to determine on what you're doing, where your meditation are, or if you're using psychedelics or whatever it is, whatever gets you there, whether you want to call it the Holy Spirit, whether you want to call it ancestral, you may be able to manipulate the different planes of consciousness or understanding that within the mental creation of the all, but that's all. But the fact of the matter is that's all within the mental creation of the all. It's not outside of the mental creation of the all, because there can be nothing outside of that. And you can never break universal law or create your own universal laws that functions inside of the mental creation of the all. The only time you can break any law is when you create mentally in your own mind. This is where the Christian out's going to come, but then it's going to backfire. One of my, y'all, if you guys know, I am a big Marvel guy. I got like 3,000 comic books at home. Big Marvel guy since I was a kid. Stan Lee is the man, right? But when Stan Lee created the X-Men, he created the Marvel Universe. All those in that Marvel Universe exist in the creative mind of Stan Lee. Can any of those characters within the creation of it jump out of the pages and confront Stan Lee and be able to know Stan Lee? Can any of those, if they went on a journey to find Stan Lee and they are existing in the Marvel Universe in the pages of the comic book, can they ever find Stan Lee? Not, oh, Doctor Strange goes on a psychedelic trip and he have ideas of what Stan Lee might be, but he's never going to meet Stan Lee, the real Stan Lee, not the one, the real one. Now, can Stan Lee, here you go, Christians, can Stan Lee then create a character more of himself? You see, every character within the Marvel Universe has an essence of Stan Lee. They have parts of Stan Lee, but they're not Stan Lee. Can the Stan Lee create a version of himself inside the Marvel Universe? Yes, he can. But even that character can never be, nor is, the actual Stan Lee. You understand? You understand? So let me put it like this. Could the Christian God, Yahweh, Jehovah, what you want to call it, could the Christian God have created an avatar in our matter plane of existence named Yeshua and gave him some information? Sure, you can create that. Can that third dimensional plane creation of Yeshua ever actually be God? No, because just like Spider-Man can never be Stan Lee, just like Stan Lee creating a Stan Lee can never be the real Stan Lee, but it's just a projection of, Jesus can't ever be God. They can never be one and the same. This was the problem that they were having at the Council of Nicaea. This is why Arius was willing to take that slap and that butt whooping and said, I signed this with a heavy hand, because he was arguing that they are not the same. And he was making that argumentative point from this mindset of alchemy, this mindset of the all, that the all can never be less than itself, nor project itself as less. It can never be. And what that projection is, or what that avatar is never equal to, nor ever is it a reality part of the all. Because the moment the all gives a piece of itself away, it is no longer the all. Just like there can never be anything outside of the all. Like when they say God created because he wanted something to love, God created because, no, it had to create simply just because it did so. Nobody knows why. But if it was a need, I need love. If God is in his infinite darkness, nothing else is around, and then let there be light because I need something to love or I need something to do, then that need that is outside of the creator is more powerful than the creator. But how can there be anything outside of the creator? It cannot be. It cannot be. Otherwise, it's not the all. It is not the all. So when we are on this journey to search to find it, you're never going to find it. There's never going to be peace with it. This is why there's have to be a look inward. The only peace and journey you can really take is the peace and journey inward. I do agree with almost every religion that says that you are created in the image of the all. Yes. Meaning that you have the same mental ability to create, just as the all has the mental ability to create. But you will never create something outside of the all. You can only create within yourself. And that's it. You can only create within yourself. Nothing else beyond that. Nothing else. And that's where we get into things like mental transmutation. To be able to transmute your mental energy into our physical reality when you're inventing something, creating something, or even if you're just in your mind, like when you dream or you're creating a book or you're creating characters, you can mentally create, in that format as well. But no matter how much we try to create anything, we will never go outside of ourselves or this matter plane of existence. Like, have you ever seen those people? They get psychedelic and they like, oh, I had a journey with God, or they meditate themselves into, oh, I had a journey with God and all this sort of thing. All right, you never had a journey with God. You had a journey within yourself. Okay, a journey within yourself. You may have received some downloads from the ether, from the universal mind, the shared information of the world. You may have downloaded some of that, but you ain't met God. It's an impossibility for you to go meet God. It's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. And I've had those moments where I thought, damn, I met God. And then after I thought about it and came to the realization of what the all is, nah, you didn't meet God. You went on a journey and you touched into a different dimensional plane. But you still exist here on this right here. No matter how enlightened a person thinks they are, no matter how good they think they are, you still exist in here. If I boil a pot of hot water or turn a hot build a fire and you put your hand in it, your hand gonna burn. You still here. You're here, right here on Earth. Right here on Earth. But I know people been saying stuff and I ain't caught nothing. But I want you guys to have that understanding first, as to what the all is. It is not all these things that people keep on creating. It's not Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, Brahma, Otamare. Is not any of these entities that man has created. It's not jealous. If the creator can be jealous, then jealousy is more powerful than the creator. If the creator can love, then love, and I know it's gonna hurt your feelings. If the creator can love, then love is greater than the creator. If the creator can hate, then hate is greater than the creator. So when I read these books and I see that they're giving human attributes to a creator, then all this suggesting me is that this person who wrote this book doesn't really know truly what the creator is, what the all is, and what they're doing is attaching their human emotions and human ideas to a creator to make it more close to them. And we call that anthropomorphizing, but they anthropomorphize the creator to themselves so that they can feel more comfortable. Because like I said in the very beginning, the ego has to have an answer. Has to have an answer. The ego has to know. And that's the problem with that. That's the problem with that. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn this thing on so that guest can be on this thing right here. If I can figure it out again. But we have to know, that's what we want to know. We got to have an answer for something. And because we want to have that answer, we find ourselves lost most of the time. Then we create these religions, and then these religions create our separation. And then because we have all our separations, we create wars, and we then feel that we deserve these resources more so than the other person. And a lot of it stems from this idea that we don't even know what the creator is. And most people run around because they're afraid of death and don't know what's going to happen. So somebody came up with an idea that, hey, you know what? If you follow me and give me some money and let me live my life and you come keep praying to me, I can guarantee you're going to go to heaven. In the early days, some people did that trick to say, hey, y'all need to give me stuff every day. Because you saw how the sun went down, I can make it come back up again tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, they know by what time they get out there and they and the sun rises. Oh my gosh, he made the sun rise. Praise be. Amun-Ra. Amun-Ra. And then they get that dude some money. Hey, I can do it tomorrow. Then when he has a kid, hey kid, let me tell you what the scam is. This is what scam is. So I'm gonna teach you in these ways. And they just keep creating more and more rituals and complicating things and separating people from the understanding of themselves and the true understanding of what the all is. Because they're making shit up. They're making shit up. Oh, what, the Aztecs and Mayans? Oh, we're experiencing a famine. Let's human sacrifice the hell out some people. You know, no. The ancient Britons, let's sacrifice some kids. Let's get these Druid priests up here. Let's sacrifice these children. You know, people will figure out all kind of things. Oh, there's a goat. If I slit his neck and cover his eyes and slit his throat, and then ask the ancestors for this, or put it on an altar and burn it up, because God loves a good barbecue. Come on, people. These books talk about the Creator coming down and walking and talking to people and having his foot washed and eating a meal and resting. And then God rested on the seventh day. If the all is all powerful, all force, all energy, the highest of vibrations, it don't need the rest. Oh, that was just to give us an example of what we should do and rest on the seventh day and keep it holy. What? Okay, the easier way is just say, hey, I created everything 6 days. I'm good. But you know what? I don't want y'all to work every day. I want y'all to take a day off. It's easier to just say it. It's more concise that way. Doesn't create any confusion. I want y'all to just take a day off. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You see what I'm saying? They understand that better. Not let me give you some kind of example, vague, so you can interpret it however you want to interpret it. You know, but no, just straight, clear, concise, bam. Y'all always saying, a lot of people, I keep saying things, y'all, because people have different ideas on here. Most religions are always coming from a patriarchal viewpoint. And if you're coming from a patriarchal viewpoint, then you're doing it from a man's viewpoint. Most men are very direct and logical. That's how our brains are wired. So why is your God not so? Why is he vague as hell? Instead of just saying, hey, take 7 days off. Nope, I got to go through all these generations before I even get to make the 7th day holy and keep it. So even on your 7th day, I don't want you to rest. I want you to worship me. Spend all your days worshiping me, because I am God and I need all of your worship. I need all of your worship. Come to me and worship me so that I can feel happy. I want to feel like you appreciate me. So in order for me to feel like you appreciate me, I need you to worship me. I need you to bring me your gifts. I need you to praise. I need you to run around the church and scream all the crazy things. And I want you to praise my name. I'm going to keep changing my name. I am El right now. Then I will be Elohim. And later on, I will be Yah. Then I'll be Yahweh. Then I will be Jehovah. Then I'm going to go back and I'll be El Shaddai and El this and El that. And then I'm going to be Jesus. Nope. First, I'm going to be Yeshua, Yasha. And that actually means Joseph. I'll be that. Then I'm going to change my name to Jesus. But before that, I'm going to say Ius or Isus. And then I'm going to go around and I'm going to confuse people. I'm going to go to the Native American. Then I'm going to tell this guy, John Smith, hey, John Smith, guess what? I'm Jesus. If your God needed all that worship, God, the creator would, I'm sorry, I went like way off on that tangent. A creator doesn't need, if a creator needs you to worship, it is not the creator that you have to fall down on your knees. Even in the ideas of heaven through the book of Revelation, it talks about it's gonna be sitting on the throne. He gonna be sitting on the throne, and all you're doing is praising him all day. Oh my God. Who has an insecurity complex? You know what? I'm gonna create a whole billions and billions of people. DD Alchemy, hey girl, see you in a while. I'm gonna create billions and billions of people. Guess what? If the ones that worship me and do all this bullshit that I tell them to do, I'm gonna bring them up here, and I'm gonna sit on this throne for eternity, and they gonna praise me all day and all night, all day and all night. I'm gonna be the light and I'm gonna be the darkness. I'm gonna be the sun and the moon. All day, all night, they gonna praise me. That's what I want for all eternity. How insecure do you need to be that you need? If a man said that he wants a woman to just sit and praise him all day, all night, what would y'all call him? Now, that's a legit question. What would y'all call him? You know, I want to know, what would y'all call a man who wants a woman to sit here, and his women, his children, the neighborhood, everybody, to just sit and praise him day and night? He sit his happy ass on the throne, and y'all just praise him day and night. I'm gonna light my cigar on that note. I want to know what y'all call that man. Hey, crazy as hell. A pimp. A narcissist. So if that's what we would call a man, and it could be a man or a woman, who requires all of that. Thinks I'm a little bit lost, but I'll say crazy. Exactly. So, okay. A little bit lost but crazy. If we call a man who goes out and says, let me go get me a wife, woman who wants to live with me and be with me. Let me and her make some kids. And those kids are going to live with me and be with me and going to be in the house. And I'm doing this because for the sole purpose is that at the end of the day, they're going to be in heaven with me. They're going to be in the house, sitting up here praising me. According to Christianity, according to Revelation, at the end of the end, all the saints of God are in heaven praising God while he sits on the throne day in and day and night. So all of this that was done, all this that we go through, all this creation was done just so at the end, this God can sit on a throne and people can praise him all day and all night. That's the purpose of all creation, according to Christianity. Does that make any sense? We just said we call a person like that a narcissist. Crazy. Why don't you call you God that? If you're Christian, if you're Christian and you said that, pretty much, but it's difficult to talk about God. God's all loving. No. It's the same. It's the same thing. Right. Exactly, Didi. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. That's because the God that is created within these religions, that's why I don't like to use the term God anyway. But what's created in these religions are gods. They're gods. Because every God that's ever been created is anthropomorphized. It's a human. It has human qualities, human traits, which is why I'm saying that the all can never have human traits, because human traits would then be more powerful than the creator. If the creator can get angry, if the creator can have love, if the creator can have hate. When people say God is love, no, God is not love. That's just what you should do. Or that's what you do sometimes. You don't always love. The same people you love today, you may hate them next week. Let them do certain things to you. You will hate them next week. So God is not love, because love is fickle. Love is incredibly fickle. All right. So you have to recognize that. Hold on, somebody's at my door. If this is the 11 o'clock meeting I was supposed to have a couple days ago, I'm gonna be mad. Oh, what's up, man? I saw your car. Oh, I know. Appreciate it. Sorry about that. And the UPS man, he saw my car, so he figured I was inside. All right. So back to it. But yes, love is so fickle. Like, love changes. It's wishy-washy. And yes, love takes a lot of work to keep it. Anybody been in a relationship, you know that. The less work you do to maintain it, the more likely you are to lose it. So God cannot be any of these emotional things. Jealousy? Used to always ask that question when I was younger. If God is the only God in creation out there, then why would God be jealous? Why would there ever be an idea of jealousy? And I didn't realize where that came from until I started understanding that the ancient Israelites, when you start going like Abraham, like Abraham, Noah, all them, Jacob and all those guys, they were at minimum henotheistic, but mostly polytheistic, because in their beginning, God had a wife, so they polytheistic. Then when they got rid of the wife, they were henotheistic for a while, because meaning that they recognized and believed that other gods existed, but they focused on their primary God. And then they became monotheistic after the Babylonian captivity. So then they that's why what was I saying? That's why God had jealousies. Sorry, that's why there was jealousies. What is unconditional love then? There's no such thing as unconditional love. Shalante, if I'm saying that correctly, I don't like messing up people's names, but there's no such thing as unconditional love. It doesn't exist. It's a nice thought. It's something that we would love to have, but there is, for whomever you love, there is something they can do to cause you not to love them. And even when you think about a creator in the guise of these books, of like God and Christianity or Judaism and Islam, all those, their love is not unconditional. Their love is conditioned on you worshiping them and following their tenets. If you don't do it, you're going to hell. You're going to burn for eternity. How can you call burning someone for eternity love? It'd be different if you say, you know what, you messed up, you didn't believe in me. So at the end of the day, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you burn for, a week. And then after a week, I'm going to take you off punishment. Because that's what a good parent does, right? You don't put your kid on punishment forever. Forever. So there's no such thing as unconditional love. Because all love has conditions. It all has conditions. Like, I don't know you, and people say, well, I don't know you, but I love you. No, you don't. You don't love me. You don't have any real love for me. Real love for me is you would die for me, that you would do things for me. You come take care of me when I'm sick. I come take care of you. All that. I'm gonna try to make your life as great as I possibly can. Those are the trappings of love. But it's a lot of people on here on Facebook and TikTok and YouTube. I might like some of them. I don't even know some of them. And y'all don't take this person. I don't love y'all like love. I appreciate you. You understand what I'm saying? So there's no such thing as unconditional love. Love has conditions, just like hate has conditions. You have to do something for me to hate you. But love and hate are actually on the same pole. There's no difference between the two. They're an emotional feeling response that you have towards a person, place, thing, towards a noun or a verb, because certain things you want to do. But it all exists on a pole in motion, and it vibrates. The further to the right is more and more extreme love. The further to the left, more and more extreme hate or dislike. But there's no such thing as absolute left on absolute right. It's forever. It's eternal as far as the degrees of it. This is why the yin yang symbol is drawn with the white and the black. But then there's a white dot, and there's the white dot in the black, and there's the black dot in the white, showing that nothing is absolute. And the dots also represent a portal from one over to the other, that they are connected interdimensionally as well as physically. So no such thing as absolute love. A little hard love. Eternal hell is not hard love. That ain't a little hard love. That's hate. If you are willing to put me in eternal hell, you hate me. If you saying that I want you to be burning and dying and screaming and gnashing of teeth and all that kind of stuff for all eternity. And that's just the light level stuff. There's some, you think about some of the torture that we do to each other, you know how harsh you can create a hell if you really sit down and say, I'm going to create my own hell. Let me see what's the worst shit I can create. Oh my gosh. That's crazy is what you can create. Right. Hell doesn't exist. Except hell it's a state of mind. It can exist in your mind, and you can manifest it in your reality, and then you will feel like you're in hell. But as far as a physical place where everybody goes because they don't believe in a God, there's no such place. I think you can still love someone but not like what they did. You may still have some love for them, but you don't have unconditional love. That's not unconditional love. You can punish them for it to teach them to do better. How is eternal punishment teaching them to do better? eternal punishment, you can never do better. You're done. That's it. So how can that be? If we were talking about kids or other people, sure. But we talking about God and putting people in hell for eternity. Well, it ain't the subject matter of the day, but just this little part. So it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. Man created God. God didn't create man. Exactly. Which is why I don't like using the term God. Or another reason why I don't. Because God is completely and all man-made. You are not. Look at how man has controlled the attributes of God, how man has controlled the worship of God, how man has controlled the laws of God. There are only 7 immutable laws of the Creator, and those are the 7 universal laws. There are minor laws within those laws, so there are more laws, but there are 7 primary, immutable. You can't change it. Like the law of gender, nothing can be created nor manifested without masculine and feminine in balance with each other, working with each other. You can't create nothing without that. Nothing. Somebody asked about some trans earlier. I'm not really talking about trans, but I do say this. If you can never create a baby by yourself without the need of another man or another woman, or at least the biological material of them, you can't manifest nothing. Two men can't have a baby together. It's an impossibility. I don't care if you dress one up, surgically dress one up, you're never gonna have a baby. You can't manifest it. Now go love who you want to go love, go be who you want to go be. Just don't force me to have to do some of your bullshit, and we good. But nobody can invalidate the law of gender. Try to create a baby by yourself without using any sperm material. Just what you got, unless you are asexual, which is incredibly rare. That ain't happening. And even in the asexual, you got male and female energy, male and female reproductive parts. And the reproductive part is not just the ping ping and the poom poom. It's what's on the inside. That's the reproductive part, the insides. I believe it's conditional to this realm and not some of the higher realm. Why not? Why not? Why is it not conditional on a higher realm? People like to think that because it's a nice thought. It's a nice thought. Let me tell you why you think it's a nice thought. And I'm not trying to pick on you or anything like that. But it's a nice thought because we see how much calamity is on this planet. We see the rape, the murder, we see starvation, we see war, we see the difference between the rich and the poor, we see people suffering, we see immense suffering. I mean, the entire thing of Buddhism came about because Siddhartha just wanted to end suffering. We see all that. It's comforting to think that at some other realm, we ain't got to see all that stuff no more. That stuff don't exist. It's comforting. It's a feel good. And I get it. And I do agree that there are certain things that a higher realm that we won't see at this realm. But to go all the way back to the original point, to get to a point, we can never be in the room with the Creator, with the all. Because in order to do so, we have to be outside of the Creator. We can never be outside of the Creator. The creation can never be outside of the Creator. The creation can never be the Creator. So I don't think there's ever a realm where you don't have at least some type of strife. Hell, even in the book of Enoch, which is where you get your war in heaven story, the references in the Bible where it talks about a war in heaven, those come from the book of Enoch, right? Even in the book of Enoch and in the Vedics, it talks about a war in heaven, right? So, and the Upanishads talks about a war in heaven. Even in that, the Sumerians talks about a war in heaven too. So even in heaven, they had strife, right? If you agree to that story, even in heaven, they had problems. So I think we used to use the thing was about eternal love. That is not conditional. It's still conditional. It was still conditional. If it wasn't conditional, then the God of the Bible would not have kicked Satan out, and it ain't even really Satan, but kicked those dude out, and then be like, "You're gonna be chained to the earth, and your prison is the earth, and then I'm gonna let you loose for a while, but then I'm gonna throw you and your nymphs into a lake of fire to burn for all eternity." And I don't think he would have been doing all that. It was because evidently there was a war in heaven, according to these stories. We're experiencing hell on earth. Yep. You're missing my point. If you're stuck on so what, they're not the chosen one to have a baby. Not all straight folks have babies. That was not the point. If you're going to make a comment, stay on the point. Don't just come in here with your feelings. All right. See, y'all talking about y'all got. See, this is why humans have problems. You stuck on people wanting to have kids, not wanting to have kids. You missed the entire point. We have these. Ooh, ooh, You have an entire 3-minute, 5-minute speech, and it could have an overarching point. You hear one small thing, and you get stuck in that one small thing. It wasn't about people having a desire to have kids. It was about immutable laws. The law of gender is an immutable law. In order to produce a child, you have to have masculine and feminine. You have to have male and female. An easy example of that is 2 men can't have a baby. 2 women can't have a baby. It's not whether they desire to have one. It is the fact that the law of gender is immutable, cannot be broken, has nothing to do with what they desire. I have 3 kids. I have no desire to have another one. That's valid. I'm not saying it's not valid for people who don't want to have kids and straight people don't have kids. Some people are born and their bodies can't even produce kids because there are abnormalities within their bodies. I had a cousin. She had the where the baby would start growing in her fallopian tube. Abnormalities happen. Wasn't the point. The point is that it's an immutable law, and the all is not outside of immutable law. The all laws are part of the all, and since we cannot break immutable laws, we can never be the all. So when people scream that I am God, or people scream that I know God, no, you don't. You don't. Your ego is trying to force it, but that's all. Your ego is trying to force it. And then there comes in power. I did calm down, Tim. You saw me, I had to break it down. Because I don't yell at people. I don't yell. We don't do that. I saw this guy on his live last night. They call him Uncle Nettie or some shit like that. Oh, he drove me insane. All you know how to do is shout people down and had nothing valid. I one day wish that he would come up on my channel. A lot of these views and beliefs can be proven wrong by observing yourself honestly, like unconditional love. I know mine is not, so therefore that can't be true across the board. It certainly is not. It certainly is not. It is not true across the board. It can't be true across the board. It never will be. But we run into this whole situation. The non-ether beings are here to bring heaven to earth. I don't know about that. You know, people are saying that the like Enlil's winning the war. I mean, Inky's winning the war over Enlil right now, and then all these wonderful things are going to start happening because, you know, Inky's winning the war. You know, the Greys are losing this and all that kind of stuff. But I'm one of those. I believe when I see it. I believe when I see it. Now, do I think we're going through a consciousness shift? We are. Because when I read this book, when I read the Kabbalion, oh boy, your boy getting old. I hate when I say this. 30 years ago. I didn't know anybody else who read it, but now a lot of people have read. You won't answer me. Won't answer me. Not want. But that typing thing has messed you up. I don't know what your question is. What's your question? I'm just asking. I saw that one. I do not see your question. If you can ask it again. If you can ask it again. Because I'm scrolling, but I don't see a question. I see some statement. Oh, yeah. Ask it again. User 8224053169948. Right. This is the age of Aquarius. And for people who don't understand what the age of Aquarius, even, just the great year, the wobble of the earth, how the sun rises on the 30th degree into a new zodiac, and then it dies or goes out of a zodiac in the 33rd degree. Jesus started preaching at 30, stops his preaching at 33. Jesus represents the Pisces. That's why all the fish and stuff is joined in there. And then when they say, where should we go? Say go into the town, find a man carrying a pitcher of water. Man pouring out a pitcher of water represents the age of Aquarius. He was talking about going into another age, not going into the man's actual house. And the houses represents the zodiac, the house of the zodiac. Now, you definitely can understand that when you realize that in ancient times and even in today's traditional countries, men don't carry water. Only a woman carries water. So for him to say, find a man carrying a pitcher of water, unless they understood he was talking about the different ages, they would look at him, and if they thought he meant somebody literal, they'd be like, what? What do you want to find? A man carrying a pitcher of water? No. Men don't carry water. So he was definitely talking about the end of an age and the beginning of a new age. And that is the age of Aquarius, which is supposed to be an age of enlightenment. The Hermetic taught that we go through these ages as well. We go through a golden age, a silver age. It's gold, silver, copper, then iron is at the bottom. We're supposedly ending the iron age, the bottom age, and going back up towards a golden age. So it's all working together. The Mayan calendar that ended in 2012, it wasn't the ending of the 13th Batoon just meant they're starting over back to the first Batoon, which was a golden era, according to their calendar. So it's just the end of one age and going back to another age. It wasn't the end of the world or the end of the 13th Batoon, but it was just starting back over at one. Like the man's song says, start back at one. So that's what all of that is meaning. So they're all talking about the same thing, just changing. And it's a constant. It's easy to prophesy something like that because it constantly happens. If you look at history, we have constantly, the world goes through these shifts every so often. Every so often, the world goes through a shift. Goes through cultural shifts, goes through mental shifts, goes through financial shifts, goes through natural shifts. But there are certain shifts that happens on the planet consistently. You still have my book that I wrote. Oh, wow. I wrote that book in 2002 or 2001. Actually, I'm writing another book right now. It's a relationship book based on chakras. I'm still waiting on you to ask the question if you want me to answer it. Don't know what it is. The user who said I won't answer the question. But you don't want to ask it again. That's perfectly fine. We will continue to move on. Now, there is this thing, one of the biggest problems that we have is trying to understand the divine paradox, right? And the divine paradox, let me put my glasses on. The divine paradox is a paradox that is resulting from the principle of polarity, meaning that everything is on a scale. Everything is the same. But as much as they are the same, they are not the same. And let me just read this little part for you. While to the infinite all, the universe, its laws, its powers, its life, its phenomena are as things witnessed in the states of meditation or dreams, yet to all that is finite, the universe must be treated as real, and life and action and thought must be based thereupon accordingly, although with an ever understanding of the higher truth, each according to his own plane and laws. So, in essence, everything exists on the same pole, and everything in life follows the universal laws and its powers. And everything in this universe must be treated as real. But there are laws of understanding that in the different planes of higher truth and lower truth, of higher mind and lower mind, is coming to the understanding that everything is of the all, everything is from the all, but everything is not the all. The Kabbalion uses an earthworm, for example. He said the earthworm is from the all, is of the all, has the essence of the all, but the earthworm is not the all, because the earthworm, if it was, it would be conscious that it is the all. So my glasses are of the essence of this universe in the matter plane of existence that has been manipulated by man to create these glasses. But yet, these glasses does not have the consciousness of its creator. It doesn't have the consciousness of the person who designed it. It doesn't have the consciousness of the person who made did the glass work, did the plastic work, did the metal work. It doesn't have the consciousness of none of that. But it has the essence of that person. So it's of that person, but it's not that person. So is everything else in the universe. It is of the creator, it is of the all, but it's not the all. And because it has a finite existence, it can never understand what it's like to be the creator. Not in its totality, not in its fullness. The closest we can get to understanding being like the creator is having children, building a business, building a house, inventing something by taking different parts of things and putting it together in the same way that different atoms and different molecules were put together to manifest matter, to love someone, and take care of them. It's things like that that can get us there. That can get us a little glimpse, just a little glimpse. I'm talking about a little bit of glimpse. I can't really get my hand close enough, but like a little, because even like that, there's still air that passes between my fingers. So there's a little bit, just a little glimpse. So slight that how dare we claim that we know the truth of God, of the creator, of the all. How dare we? How dare we? That is very egotistical. We will never know. What the hell is that? Oh, I underlined a whole bunch of stuff in this book at different times, different points. And this part just underlined to have faith versus works and belief versus knowing. And essentially it's saying that most of us rather exist in a state of believing, instead of a state of knowing. This is something that I saw last night. Last night I was watching this, these guys on this thing. And in a minute here, we can talk about anything, whatever subject matter you want to talk about. We can talk about anything. I always try to leave the last 30 minutes for that. But it was one of those channels where the guy was saying that Jesus is God, prove he ain't God. I'm allow you come on here, prove that he ain't God, and all this kind of stuff. And this one guy comes on there and he says, and because they were saying there's no contradictions in the Bible, and the guy was saying there's a contradiction, there's a problem. History and the Bible don't match. And he was telling them how, in the book of one version of Jesus' birth, he said he was born during the census. The other one said he was during the time of Herod. Well, those are conflicting because according to Judean history and Roman history, Herod died between 4 and 1 BCE. Quirinius came after Herod died about a year later and performed the census. He performed the census and said and then they start shouting the guy down, shouting that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that he was born and that he rose, that he lived and did and miracles and died and rose again. That's the only thing that it doesn't matter. But it does matter. If the beginning of the story is wrong, then the whole damn story is wrong. All right. If the beginning ain't right, how can you think the rest of it is? Because how can you verify that he was actually born if you can't even get it right of, the circumstances around that birth? And I thought that was a very, very big deal and I thought it was very rude of that Uncle Nettie guy, the way he was talking to the young man. But the thing about it is, if he was born, you got two accounts of his birth, which have at least a 5-6 year difference. And then what happens after he's born? Because they didn't even get to the man chance to get to the other part. What happened after he was born? According to one story, 8 days later, they went to Jerusalem, and then they went back to Nazareth. But according to the other story, they packed their stuff up and they went to Egypt. Which one? Straight from Bethlehem. Now, some people say that because of the words used, that you can extrapolate that when the wise men got there, they got there and saw a young toddler, a little kid. So you can say that they went, but they saw this kid in Bethlehem. If he's a young toddler in Bethlehem, and then they got up and went to Egypt. So where's the part? Then the part that's missing is they was in Bethlehem, had the baby. They went to Jerusalem, consecrated the baby. They went back to Nazareth. But after they get to Nazareth, there's no story about them going back to Jerusalem. No. He stayed in Nazareth until he was grown and started teaching. That's when he did. There's no story. I'm sorry, no story there. But I'm wondering, you see, they have problems in this story, but they was just shouting this man down. And I was just like, this is so rude. But those facts matter. And that's what a lot of people, God dang it, their belief is stronger than than facts. They believe things. They rather believe than have to have facts. There's no way to know that which exists without time or space. Interesting. Well, there is time. Time is in all things, but time is relative. But yeah, you do have to have time and space in order to know if something exists. But the creator exists, the all exists outside of time and space in the way that we see it relatively. It has to be out. If there's a whole nother realm of time and space that we will never know. Many conflicts, I try to show people the alchemy of some of the knowledge in the Bible versus the universal creator. Yeah, and there's a lot of alchemy in the Bible. There's an energy. Did y'all know that there's an energy transmutation story in the Bible? Did you know that? Did you know? I'm pretty sure you knew. If you've been following me for a while, then you should know, because I've said it a whole bunch of times, that there is a energy transmutation. Oh, wait a minute. Them, I would say to you, get hell out. Okay, you know what? You're a special kind of person. You say you won't answer me, and then you say, them I would tell, then I'm messaging you saying, then I would say to you, get the hell out. Okay, you make no sense, young man. I'm not going to deal with senselessness, and which that's what you're doing. That's what you got. And yeah. Maybe forget what I was saying. If it's outside of space and time, then it doesn't exist. Well, not necessarily. Because the infinite mind, the infinite creation, the infinite mind of a creator, of it all, has to be outside of our relative space and time, because it's encapsulated inside it, because it's out. It has to be outside of our concepts of space and time, because all of our space and time exists in the mental creation of the all, whereas it is not existing within that mental creation. Now, that's why I said there has to be another realm of space and time outside that it exists in, and a realm that we will never experience nor ever know, right? So it's just like when you dream, you have a dream. Everything that's happening in your dream, you may only be dreaming for 20 minutes, but it may seem the dream went and days and weeks went by in the dream. In your dream, you had space and time. That's different from the space and time that you exist in our matter plane existence. And you say you've been outside of space and time? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You might be outside of this matter reality of space and time, like how you are when you're in your dream state or when you're in the astral projection state. Okay. But to literally leave the infinite mind and be in its space and time, no. That's like I said earlier. Professor X can never come outside the pages of a Marvel comic book and talk to Stan Lee. Can't do it. Can't do it. You're limited. I agree with your understanding of time. It is what I was trying to convey before. Right, gotcha. Gotcha. And yeah, we have that, and that divine paradox is do we know? I mean, we can yell to the hilltops that we are God, but we're not. We are the mental creations. Like when people say that we live in a what's the word I'm looking for? We live in a simulation. Yeah, we live in a simulation that is the creative mind of the all. But I know they mean like aliens and put us in a simulation or something like that. And I don't watch too many movies. People get to a level and you know what? I my glasses. People get to a level and deem it as the level. And this what keeps us in the loop. We can't fathom that we really can't get it all. No, we can't. And that's when in the very beginning of this video, I talked about how the ego forces us to want to claim that we know. We have to know. We have to know. And most of the time, you said, what proof do we have of these claims? There are many things that we would never have proof of, but people claim it. Now we have what we can hypothesize based on everything, based on that. So there's a difference between having evidence and having proof. Evidence is having a bunch of things that lead you to a logical conclusion. Proof is deadpan proof. I got it. I took my phone and I went outside of the creation of the all. I met the all and I took a picture with the all. I videotaped me and the all, and then I brought it back. That's hard proof. Evidence, the bunch of things surrounding us that we can take an estimated guess of what's next. For instance, time. Our time is based on the earth and the sun and the movements of the earth and the sun and the moon. If you were to go to Mars, time would be different. If you go to Mercury, time would be much faster. Time would be slower on Mars. Depending upon what planet you're on, time is relative to that planet. So it's different times. That lets us know that everywhere in the universe, time is different. Space is different in every aspect of space. There is the in the law of correspondence, it calls things like the mineral, the plane of the what is it? What is it called? It's like there's an atomic plane of matter. There's our plane of matter with a slower vibration. So the atomic plane has a higher vibration, and atoms are moving so fast we can't see it. Then there's a plane of our matter, and the matter is moving at varying rates, but it's moving slow enough that we have tangible. Everything is tangible. And then there's the spiritual plane where everything again is moving so fast that we can't see it. So it has a different densities. So, but because we know there's an atomic plane and there's our matter plane, we can, you're right, as above, so below. We estimate that there's another plane beyond that. We know that there is a consciousness and that our bodies is energy, but our bodies are static. But we always wonder where the soul is at. They thought it was in the heart. They thought it was in the brain. Nobody knows. They're still trying to figure out where the soul is. So you have those different planes of conscious of matter. But even in consciousness, there's a elemental consciousness. There's the plant and animal mind. We've demonstrated that trees and animals have levels of consciousness, but then we are humans and we have a different, what we call higher level of consciousness, even though they know when the damn hurricane is coming and we don't. And without satellites, we done lost that connection with the earth. But ain't gonna go there. So we look at the fact that there are different, we have discovered there are elemental mind, plant mind, animal mind, human mind. That must be a process that continues on, that there's an energetic spirit. We call it spirit or soul, but we don't really know what it really is. And we don't know how many more planes there are, that go on and on, into infinity maybe. But, I've seen those pictures where people say, well, and I use them sometimes, there's like for the chakras, we got our 7 main chakras that we use, but then they say there's another higher chakra above the crown, and there's another chakra above that, another chakra, another chakra, another chakra. And like I saw this one picture scale thing where it had like our matter mind, and then it had like a couple of scales, then it had the Christ mind, and then a couple of scales, then it had the Buddha mind above that, and so on and so forth. So those are based on estimations of what we see, evidence of what we see that we give a estimation of. But hardcore proof, nah, ain't nobody went to heaven and came back with a picture. That's a guess because we wonder. Yeah, I mean, you could call it a guess, but it's an educated guess. That's why we use a different term for it, and that's why we say estimation, because a guess is I'm just guessing without relative knowledge to the situation, right? But an estimated guess is that you've taken the time to do some research, to find out some things, to try to understand certain levels of things, and then you make your guess based on the evidence of information you've researched, not just I feel like. I'm not saying that's what you do, so don't take it personally like that. I'm not saying what you do. I just took it as you just asking a question. But like when I get into conversation with people and they say, well, I feel like now, okay, so you just talking about your feelings. You ain't got nothing to back this up with. It's just your feelings. And if that's your feelings, that's great. Stay. But yeah. All right. Any questions? Anybody want to come on here? I mean, I know I can do it on Facebook, and I know I can do it on YouTube. I mean, not YouTube. I ain't figured out YouTube yet. I'm gonna get y'all though. And I know I can do it on TikTok. Anybody got something they want to say instead of typing? Just curious. I know you can do the invites. Oh, and if you don't know, so on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock, we're doing our series, What's Wrong with the Bible? And we're Genesis, I think 47, 48 next on Tuesday. On Wednesday, on my channel, The Art of Tantric Love, The Alchemy of Tantric Love. And on the Facebook group, The Art of Tantric Love. It'll be on this YouTube channel. I do a relationship show. And then we're back here on Thursday just talking about general spiritual things. Most of the time it's going to be based on like the hermetics or something like that, or we're going to break down something. Ain't no telling. I'll say this. Y'all, TikTok is funny. Yesterday, I was doing the show on the relationship show, I was just making a point about the difference between what people are calling pick me women and the modern minded woman, and really trying to show how a good woman has been thrown into the pick me group, and there's actually a third group here. And then the non-unity of women, because it's mostly women who are dragging other women through the mud when it comes to this situation. Somebody on TikTok got mad. All of a sudden, the goddamn TikTok just went off, just blanked out. Like, no, you're not going to talk about this. And I was just like, I can't believe this. You know, they let you, they will cancel you just because somebody complains. And that's say it the way I want to say it, that's a punk ass society mindset that we have. I don't like you, so I'm going to cancel you and I'm going to complain and they going to cut you off. So I just went to my other TikTok channel and continued doing it on that one. So that's why some of you guys on TikTok, yesterday you saw that conversation. What do you believe is the purpose of this vibrational experience, 3D or however you see, see this particular time and space? I see this as the purpose of this is that we're here. You know, it sounds kind of basic. We're here to have a human experience, is what most people say. I agree to that to a certain extent, but I honestly think that we are here because we chose to be here. That we may have been at different other conscious levels, higher conscious level, but we wanted to come here and learn and feel this existence. Just like right now, a lot of people want to feel the higher energetic existence. But I often do meditative journeys, and I did a journey where I wanted to feel, what is it like to be a plant? What does the plant really feel like? What is the consciousness of a plant? What is the consciousness of an alligator? Right? And I went through some processes so I can get as close to trying to feel that as possible. And I'm telling you, it was an interesting experience. But I literally, this is I think, I feel like. No, it's not how I feel like. But because there is some evidence of people having past life regressions, and I've done that myself, and you know, you have these memories of previous lives. I honestly, my best estimation is that we're here to experience this level of existence on this planet with the time and the different time frames of this planet. So, what is the thing? What is it when you reconstitute yourself? What they call it? When you die, you reconstitute yourself. Why am I'm drawing a dang on? What do the Buddhist people call it? Thank you for your work. I wish I could support you more. Support, like, what do you mean by support more? Oh yeah, reincarnation. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Reincarnation. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I mean, I was saying reconstitution because I was like, but that's probably why I couldn't think of it, because reconstitution, to reconstitute yourself kept coming in my brain. But I think that's where the ideas of reincarnations come from, is because you have these past lives, you remember them. Some people, this might be your first time around. Who knows? But and then reincarnation may be totally bunk, and we just may be, as somebody asked, what do I think about the Akashic record? Your past life regressions or your past lives that you think you remember might be the fact that the Akashic, I think it was an Indian guy who first started promoting that. That the Akashic record is basically that all the information, that all the lives of your ancestors are inside of you, right? Meaning that because DNA continues to travel from generation to generation to generation, that all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the lives of your previous generations is inside of you, and that's the Akashic record. So when, like, in the Ifa, when they reach out for their ancestors and want to communicate with their ancestors, they're communicating to that Akashic record already built into their DNA, and that's how they're able to access that wisdom, you know, of them, of their ancestors. You know, In the ideas of mental transmutation, Napoleon Hill talked about how you want to bring in the energies of previous business owners if you want to become a better business person, previous great husbands if you want to be a great husband, great wives if you want to be a great wife. You want to pull that energy into you and transmute that energy to yourself and that knowledge, that wisdom. So it it may not be reincarnation. It may just be that you, because we do know DNA travels, you just might be remembering the lives of your ancestors and not your own life. That was a trap. We must evolve and keep it pushing. The Akashic record is a trap. Esoteric will break that spell. Yeah. But they don't necessarily have to be a trap. They can work together. Imagine if you had the wisdom of 1,000 lifetimes. What would you do different? What would you do different than what you're doing right now? Is it possible to find your soul contact, mission, or purpose? I think you have a lot of soul contacts. It's funny, the book I'm writing is about how to find your divine soulmate. Um, but I think you can have many and many missions and many purposes. I don't think we got one purpose, we got one soulmate. What if you had a soulmate and I did one, you know how the TikTok had a little stupid little thing, your soulmate is, and it then flutters over your head. I did that thing and it said your soulmate was born in the year 2000. I was like, you know, lost your ever loving minds, TikTok. I'm 51 years old. Ain't no way if you was somebody born in 2000. Some 20-year-old, 22, 23-year-old. Hell no. Um, but that one was particularly talking about romantic soulmate. Now you can have a soulmate who's just a friend, who's just an acquaintance, somebody that you know, but you connect at a deep, deep, deep level. So I believe you can have many of those, and you can have many purposes. Every 10 years, I reevaluate myself in my life and determine what is my purpose for the next 10 years. What is my mission for the next 10 years? Now there is an overarching mission that I desire, but that is my own creation. Now, there are some times where you create things for yourself that you shouldn't create. Uh, I think your talents, for me, whatever your talents are, whatever you're most talented at, that you love to do, that you love to be, the environment you love to be in, that's your mission, that's your purpose, that's your soul. And those who are of like kind, that's your mission, that's your purpose, that's your soul. Do you think it is healthy to raise children in a Pentecostal faith? No, I don't. I don't think it's healthy to raise children in any faith at all. None of them. Now, do I think you should teach children about all the different faiths, or at least a few different faiths? Do I think you should teach them? But before you teach them that, teach them critical thinking. Teach them how to think critically through everything, and how to research. How to research is so vital. I heard this guy who's saying, the same guy who's getting on my nerves last night. He was like, "Do you read your Bible? Do you read your Bible? Okay, I want you to read your Bible. Then I want you to study your Bible. I want you to take Philippians, and I want you to read Philippians every day for a month, because I want you to read. And when that Holy Spirit get up in you, then God gonna put some work in. But I want that. But study your Bible. That's not studying. Just reading it over and over again is not studying. Studying is to read and understand the culture, the politics behind that was going on when it was written. When was it written? Who wrote it? Why did they write it? What are other things that are adjacent to it? That's studying. I always say, Lambert, you're a personal trainer. I used to be a personal trainer. I used to own a gym. I used to be a personal trainer. Strengthen our children's conscience. Right. We got to strengthen their consciousness. The Pentecostal, any of those faiths, okay, any religion that teaches you or your children that in order for you to find your salvation, you should be looking outside of yourself. It's wrong. I'm saying it. I said it. It's wrong. It's wrong as two left feet. Wrong. Because you should never be looking outside of yourself for your salvation. Ain't nobody coming to save you. When I'm talking about economics and what's going on in the Black community, My biggest thing is ain't nobody coming to save you. You don't figure out, we got to figure out how to do this shit. Ain't nobody coming to pay you no damn reparations. It'd be nice. I'm not saying it's not deserved, but it ain't going to happen. But ain't nobody coming to save you. You don't want to learn financial literacy? Your ass going to stay broke. You want to stay, you stay broke, your ass going to stay powerless. You stay powerless, they're going to keep running over you. They keep running over you, you screwed for generations. So no, ain't nobody's coming to save you. There's no, oh, I'm gonna make it to heaven and then everything's gonna be all right. I remember when my grandmother first told me what heaven was like. I said, Grandma, that sounds boring. I want to go to hell. I got my, oh boy, I tell you, she told my grandfather that. What's wrong with you? I believe religion has created a small-minded point of view of life. Teach your children there is universal power that is within you, your inner being. Even the Bible, it says this, and it does. Oh, and I said that there's a part of the Bible that shows transmutation. Y'all remember the story about energy transmutation? Y'all remember the story about Jesus, and he's walking through the crowds, a whole bunch of people, they pressed up against him, and there's this woman, she got the issue of blood, and she's trying to get there. 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 And then she finally get close enough. She grabbed the hem of his cloak, and then when it said that he felt the power go out of him. He felt the power go out of him. That's energy transmutation. That means that she took power from Jesus when she touched the hem of his coat. Let me ask you a question. So that's energy transmutation. It's right there in the Bible. Right? She took the power out of him. And he said, by your faith, you are healed. All right? Not by the power that you took, but by your faith, you are healed. Jesus is God. And we just went over about an hour or so ago that God can never be less than what it is. If power was taken out, how can he still be God? And I don't want to hear that there was a replacement of power within a split second. It regenerated with, at the very same time. No. If power can be taken out, he ain't God. Don't work that way. Woo! Whoa! I don't want to say it right. Cry fry. That question, I hate them. You ain't gonna like my answer. How do you navigate a marriage where your husband is a pastor, but you are no longer a believer? It's hard enough when you got parishioners where one person is Christian, Muslim, whatever, and the other person ain't. They just parishioners. You first lady and you ain't a believer. It's hard. That's gonna be hard. Y'all gonna have problems. Now it really gonna come down to what's more important to your husband, what's more important to you. Is the marriage more important, or is it more important that this front is put up, that you show up and you play the role of first lady? And if he Pentecostal, they hardcore about that. And like, some of these Baptists or these non-denominationals, they play that light. They play it light. But Pentecostal, they pretty hardcore about it. They're all about that day of Pentecost. They're all about that speaking in tongues, that jumping and running. They're all about that life. So to navigate it, you and your husband are going to have to come into an agreement of respect. Agreement of respect to say that I love you and I want to be with you. Everything that we have going on is great. According to the Christian book, nobody's married in heaven. So we're not even worried about heaven and being husband and wife in heaven. We just worried about being husband and wife right here on earth. Right here, if y'all got children, right here with our children. Do y'all have children? So we're not going to worry about that. Now, you have to find out what your limitations are. Like when I was married to this one woman, she was Christian. She asked me if I would go to church with her. Sure, okay, I go. But then she asked me, can you hide this? Oh hell no. See, now we had that was my I'm not going that far. Right? Oh, you got 4 children. All right. So you have to find your standard of what you're gonna do. Now, y'all got 4 kids. So me and my kid's mom, we have 3 children. Before we ever had kids, we had already had the conversation that I'm not Christian. I don't believe what these jokers believe. My kids are, in order for us to have kids, my kids gonna have to be able to learn. They're gonna have to learn all of it. They're gonna learn what I know, and they're gonna learn what you know. And we're gonna teach them how to think critically, and they'll be able to make their own decisions. I'm not gonna push them one way or the other. Now, none of my kids are Christian. It's a joke when they're around their mom, but none of my kids are Christian. Because she'll pray for food, and the rest of them will sit there and she'll be like, "You heathens," and then they all just laugh or they pick on her about, "Look at you praying over your food. If it's poison, you're still gonna die." You know. But those are just jokes that they just make towards each other. But anyway, I'm sorry. Raising 4 kids and you are the mother. Kids usually follow the mother, but since he's a pastor, he's all up in the church. He's gonna want his kids in the church. He's gonna want his kids to have his faith. That's what he's gonna want, and that could cause a problem between y'all. But y'all have to come to agreements of teaching the kids to think critically, or if they just gonna be of that faith. Whatever decision y'all come to, you're gonna struggle. And can you go to the church and put on the front? I don't know what level pastor he is, but can you go to the church and put on the front? But if you do that, are you happy? Are you being your authentic you? Or is that a sacrifice you're willing to make for the sake of your marriage? Is that a sacrifice you're willing to make for the sake of your marriage? And can he handle it? Can he handle the fact that he know that you sitting up there, you really ain't paying attention, you really ain't into it, you're probably dissecting everything that he's saying. Can he deal with that? Y'all need counseling, and a lot of it. In order to make this marriage and make this family work, you're going to need a lot of it. That's how pervasive religion is that if you took religion out of the equation, you two would probably have a wonderful, beautiful marriage with 4 great kids. But that's the damage that religion can do, simply because you disagree on what the essence of God is. Deborah, you are super late, but I know you're working. That's a hard navigation. Oh, shit. It's 12 noon. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to end this, even though Deborah just showed up. Thank you, Deborah. The hand, I'm assuming you're talking about this one. This is the hand of Hansama. And then this is, of course, my uncle. Donald, you late too. We getting ready to close out. So I appreciate you guys. Somebody asked they wish they can support me more. So there are different ways you can support the channels. Facebook, you can give stars, and same thing with gifts on TikTok. YouTube, they got the super chats, love chats. Where's the cigar shop? It's in Stone Mountain. It's called Smoking Phoenix Cigar Lounge. Smoking Phoenix. Smoking, because there is a Phoenix Cigar Lounge on the south side. So it's Smoking Phoenix Cigar Lounge in Stone Mountain, Georgia. 5385 54 Strickland Road. But if you just Google Smoking Phoenix Cigar Lounge, Stone Mountain, Georgia, the address will come up. But yeah, so just like Deborah just gave 50 stars. I don't even know what these stars do yet. I just set these things up the other day because somebody was telling me about it. I don't know. Some people, they want to donate to the channels. So on YouTube, they do the super chat or the super comments, which you add a donation to it. And some people on TikTok, they look at what my Cash App is, which is $ my name, LaRenzoreid. Share the pages, share the videos, like them, all that stuff. Because at some point, I do want to do this like on a more full-time basis. You know what I mean? Like every day we cranking out. videos. We cranking out lives. They're done much better with better equipment. Like, this is how I want to spend like the rest of my life, being able to just research, like be just getting deep and digging into some research, getting back into the libraries and going to some more sites and these ancient sites, and then like meeting these people. Like, I'm telling you, some of the, I keep saying like a kid, but um, some of the greatest things that happened to me is when I was in Israel and I met this guy, David Asid, and he was one of the curators at the museum in Tel Aviv. And, me and him pen pal. And this, I know I'm telling how old I am. We were pen paling for a while, and he was just dumping information, just all kind of information back then that you just couldn't get. Like, you can get a lot of it now, but I learned the whole thing about the Sumerians and the Sumerian stories from this guy, because he was one of the curators at the museum in Tel Aviv. And then he introduced me to some other people, He introduced me to John Anthony West, which I started understanding the weather watering of the Sphinx. And he introduced me to Zechariah Ascension, not personally, but just to his work. Um, but yes, he started, and then those people introduced me to other people. And then when you go to these sites, you start meeting people and you just start spending this time. And I'm telling you, that's how I want to spend the rest of my life, just learning, putting it all together in concise ways, and then putting the information out there. Let people do with it what they will. That's how I plan on doing it. Actually, I'm gonna tell you, that's the whole purpose of me building business, is so that I can get to a point where that's what I can do. Uh, that was my whole desire for entrepreneurship. Is that you know? Oh, and I got to go spend like 3 months sitting on top of a mountain with a Buddhist monk meditating. Got to do it at some point. I don't know if I can handle the silence for 3 months. So I'm gonna have to do it, but they will let you do it in spurts. Like, you can come for a week and go leave and come back for a week. I don't think I can do 3 months straight in silence. Uh, as much as I run my mouth, I'll probably die. But I got to go spend the 3 months on a mountain, and it got to be summertime because I don't like the cold. But yeah, all those things, and just be able to go to everywhere. Lake Titicaca, just gotta go. Nazca Line, Easter Island. You know, I want to do that Antarctica thing, but it's cold, and I don't want to get shot because if you go past that marker, they're gonna shoot you. I ain't gonna go there, but gotta go, man, gotta go. So that's the only reason why I try. I'm build these channels so that I can have as many people as I possibly can to share this information with. But also, I know that the bigger you build the channel, it provides for you the opportunity to be able to go and do these things. And it's not always about the money that you make on the channel. Just by being visible on the channels, you get invited by some of these people to go and do things, because just in the little small number of people that I have on my channels, I've been invited or been contacted by people. And it's like, oh shit, I got contacted by such and such. And it's an amazing thing, because my whole life, if you ask what your purpose, mission, I love to study. I'm a big ass nerd. I love to study. I love to read. I'm reading like 5 books at the same time right now, but love to read, love to study. But I need to go see some of these places where my bones still moving, where I still got some dexterity, because the Marine Corps didn't treat me right. Cause my back hurt. But anyway, so O'Donnell, you in Vegas? Ooh, early morning. Well, sorry, it's noon now. Gotta go. Gotta open up the lounge. Gotta open up the popcorn shop. Oh yeah, I do. I own a gourmet popcorn shop. It's called Uncle Renz Popcorn. Go to the letter U. Go to the letter R. The word popcorn. If you want to order some popcorn, that'd be great. Um, that helps the channel as well, because the more money I make over there, the more I can do this. Even though I'm thinking about restructuring the popcorn company and just be online and online wholesale and fundraisers. Uh, but yeah, so I appreciate everybody. Like yesterday, Errol, he donated like $10 on the channel on YouTube, and I was like, great, because all that's going to do is go towards. I need another like other equipment that I need, and duplications and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, y'all have fun. Have a great day. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself. Are you coming soon to visit Deborah? Okay, Deborah, I'm waiting. But you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journeys, good vibrations. See you Tuesday. If I don't do another live, just impromptu, because I might do an impromptu one. Depends on how my days go. All right. Thank you, Deborah, for the stars.